the first man to ever seduce me, to break me down.
Mike Andreula, he'll rock your world.
Fantastic last couple of weeks. We've seen Jay, we've seen Alex, we've seen Kristen, we've seen myself, we've seen
Now, here's Mike Andreula.
Also, the first man to ever seduce me, to break me down and through my stomach. Okay, I'm talking about Lua. This is a point where we're just first meeting. I'm sorry, guys. Ricardo, please tell everybody, for our both American and our Spanish audience, just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a chef for 25 years, and of course I met you at Lua. Lua was one of my biggest restaurants here in Waterfront, and it was actually the first big high-end Latin American restaurant. My specialty is Latin, even though my background of cooking is French and American. Now, mostly like Latino restaurants. I oversee Sofrito, Sazon, Mama Juana, Hudson River, Stage 48, and all those restaurants is Latin food with a fusion. Now then I'm changing my whole life because of you.
Health and
I'm going more healthy, and I'm also the personal chef for the Yankees, and I'm the personal chef for Mark Anthony.
A little team called the Yankees, guys.
I cook for Mark Anthony. Also, I cook for Preston Bailey, which is one of the most wanted event planner in the world. And I get very high-end clients, such as Good Morning America, such as the Kardashians, and that exposed me to a lot of high-end people. But I guess I seduce them like the same way I seduce you with Latin food.
The Latin food. Yeah. Oh man, you guys have no idea. The first time I came to Lua, first off, I wasn't even old enough to get into Lua. I was 22. I was like, I just want to eat at the restaurant. Like, no. He had to come out and get me, and then you just made, I would say, a cornucopia of different little shrimp three ways and the tamale. And we're gonna roll this in, guys. We have to go to one of your restaurants or a location, and we can do a little bit of cooking. But the food was just exceptional. You knew how to work the room, and you know how to develop the staff in the restaurant so that they're doing the right thing. It's not there's so many chefs out there, but they can't put together the teams that you do, the kitchens, the overall game plan. How did that begin? How did you develop that?
That's my bread and butter in my business. That, I don't know, you could call it a gift to be able to open restaurants from scratch. Like I mentioned to you before you were filming, I'm opening this orphanage for Mark Anthony in Dominican Republic, and the challenge is to, get it off the ground. And of course, you get it through experience. And I never went to school for cooking, but working in so many restaurants, you learn what to do and what not to do. Now, visualize how to put a team together. I always compare myself to coaches with the coach baseball team to see who's the best to do what, and then I put it together. You remember 90%, actually 99.5% of my employees are Latinos. And they just came from Mexico, Latin America. I have to teach them the basics, and then they develop.
And I said that because listen, I worked at Margaritas and Vito's, which is when I was 10, I was making in the prep room, which was we were listening to Mexican music. What's it called? The
ranchero music, mariachi.
Yeah, they love that. They love to make jokes, and that's how I spent a couple of years of my life. And this is an Italian restaurant for none of us.
Everybody is Spanish.
But I like that influence. The Spanish food is fantastic. It's blended. And all your food is just, the ingredients are on point.
Well, you know what? When every time I'm like, I have a fear of what should I put in. Like when I was interviewed by Preston Bailey, because I was supposed to do his wedding. It was the first gay wedding in Empire State Building. And of course, he's a very high-end man. And I'm like, what should I do for a guy who has the best chef working for him in the world? I said, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my roots. I know he's Panamanian, and his roots are gonna come out in his palate. So I did Latin food, so I got the job to do his wedding, which is a big deal.
Yeah, trust me. And you've also been an entrepreneur, and you've had mindset that most people, and we were talking about this earlier, and I'm just getting this because with all the cameras, the studio, and you guys might be shocked to hear this, but I get people are resentful of me. Some people, certain personalities, so they feel like you're going up and that's making them lower, like a crab in a bucket. They have a Spanish saying for that. They try to pull that crab. If you're a crab and you're trying to get out of the crab bucket, the other crabs push you down. And I always heard about that stuff, and I was like, come on, that's not going to be me. But now I'm getting it from people that I could not, people that I help. It's the people that I help, they resent me more. Not everybody, but a certain section. So you must have it a million times over going to Latin American countries. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny you say that because, I have a TV show in TLC International called Mission Menu. That exposed me to 207 countries, and especially Latin America. And then you have the people that admires you or likes you, but they're the ones, like you said, there's a lot of chefs up there.
Yeah.
And what is it that why I always get a lot of jobs? I have to say no. Right now I have about 7 restaurants under my belt. I'm about to open 3 more. And then people say like, why? I think they're a combination of things. I believe, this might sound cheesy, but I believe we all have a star or an angel that illuminates you more than a lot of other. Also, you believe in yourself, and when you're self-confident, people receive that. And then people doesn't want to hire somebody to open a restaurant, $3 million, and you're not sure what you're doing. So self-confidence always been my things that opens the door. And I get a lot of people, I can never forget this one. I was in Lua, and I met this older chef that used to be the chef in Inglewood. And he says, "Are you Ricardo Cardona?" I said, "Yes, I am," because I was wearing my chef jacket. He goes, "You know that I hate you every day?" I said, "Why? I never met you." I take a train, I take a bus, and I walk like 7 blocks to work in a freezing cold, and then I make it to work. I heard you take the elevator to work. What you do is press a button, you live on the 10th floor, right?
Yeah.
And then you go on the 1st floor. I say, my man,
Yeah.
it's not my fault. He's like, but you know what? I'm very thankful to God and to the universe, whoever I need to thank. But also, you know what? I also thank to my hard work that's what I get this kind of jobs. It's not because I'm just lucky. You work hard for it, and that's like I always put it, it's like losing weight. You know what? Do people complain, my God, I'm fat. But if you do anything about it, then you're never going to lose weight. And I always compare it to my career and where my life stands.
Okay. Is it time for my sponsor? Back talking with Ricardo, we're discussing I like to talk about yesterday I was really fired up because I felt like it happened to me, and I should be getting used to it by now, people being envious and it doesn't even matter. I could be poor and they'll still hate on you. But let's switch to mastery. So you've taken skills, and cooking I like to liken to kickboxing, or it goes across the board of things that you can master. It's small, drumming, music. It's the small, tiny details. What do you do to prepare for cooking? Is there a philosophy? Is there books? What are you basing the cooking off of? What's driving you?
Well, my experience, I'm not saying it's 1 in a million, but of course I'm passionate about it. I love cooking, and I've been doing it for so many years. Since I'm 15 years old, it comes natural. So for me to write a menu, I have all the ingredients, registered in my back of my head. So, you have to know basics to create something. You have to.
So the fundamentals are the first step.
A dish, it's 70% is the ingredient and 30% is technique.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of always look the ingredient and then you go on the technique. But I always, it sort of depends on who am I cooking to. And I have so many different, I have a restaurant in Harlem. I have a restaurant in Washington Heights.
So the audience, the people receiving the information, incredibly important as well.
Yeah. So you have to know who you're cooking for, first of all. And then for me to create a dish or to cook, I have to know who I'm cooking for. And the motivation behind. Like, for example, before I came to see you, I was, starving because I worked out with Alex at your gym. Yeah. And I was dying. So I prepare myself whenever I have in the refrigerator and I create. I saw what was going bad in my refrigerator and put it together into a dish that was delicious.
So fundamentals, know the audience, because say it's the Yankees, they're already expecting a certain dish.
Oh yeah, I have to.
So if you just make it too crazy or you do it, what do they expect? Like,
I mean, even some guys, they don't care. Like Cesar Sebastian eats.
he'll eat whatever. Yeah.
It's whatever. I mean, I have particular clients. Like last year, I knew that I had to bring, specific food for Robinson Cano. And when Mariano Rivera also was on the team, I had to bring a specific to him. Then I have a general. I have to do a protein, a vegetable, starch. They asked me not to use saturated fat, but they we put in the buffet, because this buffet and comes out of the 7 inning, and we have to put a card that says it's like the traffic light, the green, the red, and the yellow. But they grab it and they throw it away. They don't care. But some of them, they really, like Alex Rodriguez, he's organic, believe it or not. He's organic and he doesn't eat usually. Yeah. So a lot of the guys don't care, but there is basic that I have to follow.
It's a good thing they're baseball players and not golfers, because the golfers are probably the toughest. Latin American guys are pretty laid back. Baseball players,
Well, the Yankees, a lot of Dominicans, there's a Venezuelan, there's a Mexican. So I know what they like.
Why? I mean, this is off topic, but they love baseball in South America. I wouldn't expect baseball to be not South America, it's Central America, the islands.
More in the Caribbean. South America is more soccer than anything else. Even though Venezuela is big in baseball.
We're going to have to delete that because they're going to hate that I said that. Not South America. In my mind, all of America's together, guys. I'm sorry. And you
what are you, Simon Bolivar now?
No, sorry.
One Latin America?
One Latin America.
There you go. That's a good saying.
One Latin America. Yes, I appreciate it. The traveling, Ricardo, I love to travel. And you started telling me about the travel before I even left anywhere, and how you're going there and you start educating yourself by just being there. Yeah. Like if I go to get a grocery, I've educated myself. If I mingle with the real people, I educate myself. This was way back when. You probably don't remember telling me this type of stuff. So then we started going to Costa Rica. We started going to Italy, went to France. And then I started understanding people, how they value things. The Italians value the food. It's something to be, in America, it's not valued as highly.
You know what I always said, what I admire when I go to Europe, is to them it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Here you eat because of necessity, and you eat it because they're hungry. Very few people enjoy the eating experience, because the difference between, the necessity of eating and the dining and eating experience. In Europe, like the siesta, the 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, nobody's in the street, everybody's having a big lunch, and it's a big feast. And same thing when I went to France, or even in the Middle East, food is a lifestyle. They love, and they're so proud. Even sometimes I get intimidated, believe it or not, in Spain, how much they know about food. Yeah. They talk to me like, oh, how do they know so much? But the lifestyle, here it's different.
That's also something I think the culture needs to evolve to that point. You can only experience a certain amount of pleasure per day, and food is such a great pleasure if it's not filled in Italy. Look, they're tiny in certain areas, and they're eating delicious food, and it's something to look forward to every single day. So by speeding it up in New York, we're not necessarily gonna, even if we make more money, we're not gonna make food more enjoyable. At some point, this has to be brought into people's lifestyle. You have to eat. So people are eating and they're not enjoying it at all.
Yeah. They don't know what they're eating. With the last 3 weeks that I've been going through this transition in my life of eating healthier and organic, I asked myself, thank God I make pretty decent money, and I have the ability to get whatever I want, even for free. And I asked myself, how do poor people, if they want to eat healthy, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
So it's like, all the
they can grow it.
Yeah.
That's it. They can.
But it's very, very hard, and it's been like, remember the other day I went to the supermarket, only had $9. I couldn't buy anything. I said, oh my God, I feel so little. Of course I could get more money, but with $9, you can't eat a decent lunch in New York City, which is sad.
This is the way we're going. You're pulling farms away. The farms are dedicated to one particular crop. So people would have to start growing it inside. See, guys, you don't see the background, the staff, the directors, they're against me here. They're tapping their watch. They're giving me the middle finger. I'm trying to focus. So let's take Twitter questions because I think it's good to have the interactive audience. So one question from D78 is, what is the strangest food that you had to prepare for a celebrity?
The strangest food for celebrity, let's see.
I mean, are they asking for strange foods? Like A-Rod, like, let me have some tongue.
They're very particular on what they eat. I mean, when I did in an honor dinner for Sonia Sotomayor at Jennifer Lopez's house,
Hell yeah.
she wanted to make sure that I get really authentic Puerto Rican food, which authentic Puerto Rican food is a lot of frying. No offense to anybody, it's a lot of frying involved, alcapurrias, empanadas, and
I don't see a problem with that. I really don't.
but a lot of people do. So anyway, so we had, I mean, in that table was a very powerful table from all the senators and, you know, Ricky Martin at the table and, you know, everybody watching. But you know what? I did it despite and I did that. But strange food, no, they're very particular on what they want to eat. Like
Whoa.
Jennifer Lopez only wants to eat very small portions.
What was Jennifer wearing that evening? I don't think you'll get in trouble. Actually.
Shout out ugly dress.
It's a horrible dress.
I'll show you a picture.
So let's now inspire. We're gonna have to keep doing these and keep bringing you. And I don't know if we have some more Twitter questions, guys. Okay, we're talking about how can we motivate the people, even the orphans in Dominican, the Latin America audience, and at some point this will be translated back and forth. How can they? Because you came here with nothing. So you're coming with nothing. People are complaining to me, and they have in my opinion, depending on where you're starting, you come here with nothing and you make yourself successful. How can, it's a lot to think about. How can they get on that path, on that road to the 15-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids out there, and even somebody 30,
you know
40.
what I always said, and I have a 26-year-old son, and I'm the first one I preached to him and said, you know, a lot of people has a full bag of excuses for whatever they didn't accomplish or they want to do but never do it. And sometimes life, you got to see it that you don't have a choice just by doing it. Just you have to do it. Mm-hmm. I did it because I have no choice. I had no choice but, you know, not just survive. I mean, I came to this country in '82 and I was 15 and I don't have a choice. Not just to survive. I wanted to succeed. And the success, how do you measure success? I mean, it's a lot of the ways, but you're doing what you like to do. I think half of the problem in the American community and even in Latin America, they don't know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be this. But whatever, the best advice somebody gave me was, if you do French fries, do the best French fries you ever made. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you became an expert and, you know, you became what you do, but you can get good at it. Because that's what you're doing, you love what you do. So if you like cooking, you have to pursue it. Pursue it and make the best of it. And whatever thing, you know, you want to do, and stop using excuses. It's like, to me, it's like, you know, have an excuse for me not to lose weight or feel healthy. You know, it's my choice. You know, drink at night, have a bottle of wine and have cheese and bread, or not to have, you know, a healthy food before I go to sleep. So it's a matter of choice. Things you have to be very confident in what you want to do, and that's my best advice. So, you know, listen, CNN interviewed me and says, what can you tell, you know, people? I said, look, I came with nothing. I never went to school for cooking or English, or, you know, I never finished even high school. So, and I made it. I made a name for myself in the industry because of hard work and, you know, say definition, said, I want to do it. So what's your excuse if you don't, you know, if you don't want to do it? You go to school, you were born in this country. Americans don't know how good they have it here in America. I mean, now that you're traveling, you know, people would die to come here. Yeah. And you have, this is the land of opportunity. Make the best of it.
Well, you heard it, guys. I can't tell you enough. I don't know when the switch will happen or if people, you got to do that. You cannot rely on other people for your success. You can't. What are you doing? Are you a maniac? Do you really think somebody else out there is going to, it's very rare the occasion where somebody else takes you and just propels you up. And if they do, they probably have a big cut on this, probably in the music industry. Take somebody from nowhere, propel you up. People are walking around thinking that's going to happen, like it's a Saved by the Bell episode. Not going to happen, guys. All right, so another question from the Twitter sphere. Okay. BJ99, I hate cooking. I need tips to surprise my girlfriend with dinner, something easy but guaranteed to get me laid. Is there anything that will seduce a woman like you seduced me into marrying? You pawned Christy off on me. You're like, I gotta sweeten this guy up. Let me sweeten this guy up with some pork shoulder.
French fries? Make the best French fries ever?
Yeah. So think about it. What can this guy? First off, they got to get. It's got to be simple enough that they can do it and pull it off, and also not stink up the house. This reminds me of a story with our buddy Jordan, who's been on by phone, where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a steak for my date," but in his apartment, and now he's frying that steak up. The whole apartment's gonna be smelling like. Maybe that's not the best move. Maybe depends.
Well, I have a true story to tell you.
Aphrodisiacs.
I have a true story to tell you, and it's a funny story. One time I met this guy, and he goes, "You Chef Ricardo?" I said, "Yes, I am." He grabs my hand and kisses my hands, and he goes, "Because of you, I got married." I said, "Really? How?" And he goes, "Well, you're famous for your pork. I went to buy your pork at the restaurant, and I told my boyfriend that I made it."
Oh man.
And I serve her, just say,
man.
"Well, you serve her," and he believed me. And of course, he doesn't know that I bought it for you. And listen, I think first of all, a tip for whoever, Twitter is, you have to know what your girlfriend likes or the girl likes, because if she's allergic to seafood, allergic to high gluten, you're not going to cook. You're not going to serve bread or seafood. You have to know what she likes. And sometimes you don't even have to cook. You can buy it. It's just the way you. To me, when people say aphrodisiac comes in the eye. This oyster doesn't do anything scientifically proved. Doesn't do anything to man. Nothing. A banana or a potato does more. To a man to perform. Yeah. So oysters is just the way it looks, the way it feels. So my advice is set up a nice table, candlelight, nice music, buy dinner, serve it nicely, nice and warm, so the house won't stink. And and if you cook, boil cinnamon, and apples, so it gives a nice aroma to the house.
So should you not say that you didn't cook this? You might as well.
You can say it, but
make it not. Well, no, don't say it. My tip.
If he has cooking skill, listen to me. A good omelet can be good at any time of the day. So whatever he does best, then she likes it, can do it.
Well, listen, I can't agree with you more. You set up the environment because, you're seducing and it's the whole environment. It's not just you take your pork and just slap it down, and the environment's hostile, and you have Ricky Lake on, stuff like that. It's not going to bring you. You got to set the mood. Maybe a little music, a little wine, slow the process down. I like that question. That would be huge to come up with some recipes for.
Cooking in the house is not easy, and especially if you're not a cook. Now, I would say, better off buy a good dish, serve it nice in a plate, and save the time to be cooking and go through the hustle.
That pork shoulder was amazing. I have dreams. It was served. It was huge. It was the shoulder. It was the shoulder, and it was trimmed up, but the pork at the top was perfectly crisp. You ever see where it's just almost like you hit it with a torch or something, and it was laid on a bed of rice.
Yeah, a pigeon pea rice.
And over on the side we had some yuca, sweet plantain, and there was some onion reduction. You told me how to do it one time.
But you know what it is the when I do combination, like everything you describe is opposite flavors. You have the saltiness, the sweetness, the crispiness. So that's what I create. Hopefully good luck for the guy.
Yeah, the silverware too. You had a knife that was like a not a switchblade, but it looked like a fold-out knife.
Yeah, it's called offset.
Offset, beautiful. So yeah, that was a seduction, guys. That's what you call seduction. Any other interesting countries that you've been to that we should visit? Cuba, you've been to.
Cuba a few times.
Okay, can you describe Cuba to us since nobody knows?
Cuba's interesting for the fact that it's like the Twilight Zone, the minute you land. Okay. It's like 1950s style. Unfortunately, you're expecting to see a lot of food, like Cuban food. The best Cuban food you can have is in Miami. Because, you know, this country is blessed to eat whatever they want. And people think they're going to go have, my girlfriend, when they went to Cuba, goes, I want to have a Cuban sandwich. There's no Cuban sandwich in Cuba. Cuban sandwich wasn't invented even in Cuba.
Yeah.
It was invented in Tampa for the Cubans that came to do cigars. So, you know, because they had a warm, easy sandwich to eat. It's like a panini, Italian panini.
Yeah.
So I like it more for the culture, for the ocean. There's still not much pollution because there's not that many cars. So it is a beautiful country. Food-wise, you know, I mean, I accept it. It is what it is, and I enjoy it. But I have more fun, and I love the food in Israel. I really fell in love with the food in Israel. Very fresh. You know, they make hummus every day. They peel the chickpeas one by one. I mean, it's amazing. They love cooking.
Is it a hodgepodge of, if that's a word, of different cultures? Is it Palestinian? Is it Israeli?
Of course, Palestinian and Lebanese is the influence in the Israeli food, and the hummus and the papaga and ocean, all this stuff. But it's not just the fish is really, like, they have the ocean right in front. And I tell people think Tel Aviv is almost in a war. Tel Aviv is a great city to go.
Really?
Unless you're Muslim and you don't want to go, that's fine. But I love that, and also I love the food in the south of France.
South of France. We need to go back. Yeah, it was good. We went to Paris. You need to get out there.
South of France.
South of France, completely different.
It's another country.
Nice. Yeah, it used to be part of Italy.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you can see Italy.
That's what they call the French Riviera. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to walk on a promenade with a sweater wrapped around my neck, with my hands behind my back. I like Europe because they have promenades you can walk up and down all day. So I have something to do. Here, if I do that, I'll get a ticket for something. But can't do that.
That's a pretty hard statement that you were in. Sure?
Well, no, this is for the where I want to bring awareness. I'm shocking them, but Russia has made a move, and they've taken a piece of the Ukraine. Well, they're about to. What's it? La Crema? No, Crema. Right, guys? Back me up on it. So just pointing it out. I got the shirt, guys. They're obviously making moves out there.
Oh, wow.
They're taking a piece of Ukraine, you know. They're starting. We actually treat the Russians nicer than the Cubans. How come? How come we are not?
Now the Russians have a lot of money.
Yeah, the Cubans though, it's a nice island. I want to go there.
You have to go to Cuba. I mean, for the purpose of, and you know, there's one thing that I love also Cuba. There's no obesity. Everybody's into sports. There's not much television, so the culture is very different. They're more of art and sports. That's what they always do good in the Olympics.
Yes.
Because they're really into. You would do great with your kickboxing.
You think so? Well, they just MMA isn't legal there. Their best guy, well, Hector Lombard, he was their judo Olympic champion. He's the biggest Cuban I think ever constructed. He's just got no neck. But they're slowly bringing it in there. But can you be entrepreneurial in Cuba? That's a big if. I don't even know if I'm allowed to fly there directly.
No, you're not.
So that's it's a bit of an issue.
Just make sure that I stamp your passport.
Yeah, yeah.
You won't get fined with $10,000.
What's a must-go-to country? Let's think about. I haven't been to Brazil. We haven't been south of Costa Rica yet.
To me, Latin America. I mean, I love the Caribbean, but it depends. I mean, to relax, I love Mexico. I mean, I'm in love with Tulum. I'm in love with Cancun because the water is so beautiful and clean. And believe it or not, they protect a lot of the land. You can't mess around with the forest. I love Mexico, and one of my favorite countries also is the south of France, because they eat fresh, they eat good, they like, you know, everything is about enjoying life and wine early, wine in the afternoon, wine at night.
So what the hell are we doing here, Ricardo?
I know.
You know what I mean? What are we doing here?
I know.
Honestly,
I ask myself that every day.
Really?
I mean, like, they really enjoy life. A friend of mine who is the captain at the Café de Paris, he's like, you only work 4 days a week. And I said, we only work 4 days because that's the best thing. I enjoy life.
All right, let's get this one. We got this from Sherberman. Mike, how about a kickboxing class while Ricardo cooks? What menu would be best to go with my jab cross?
Oh, yeah.
Or my, what, think about it. Think about you've taken my class before too, right? It's chaos, it's got a lot of fire, a little spice. Sometimes I'm angry, sometimes I'm nice.
That class, no, we always did personal.
Yeah, we always did personal. But my class, it's got a lot of, it would be spicy, I think. What
Spicy?
I think it would be spicy with sweet.
You, I like that.
Right.
You know, I like that.
Like a spicy sweet mozzarella.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, listen, a lot of my dishes are like that. When I use spicy food, I add sweets to
Hell
the
yeah.
contrast.
Oh, that's the best.
And but you know, when I think of kickboxing, and especially when I'm training with, now I'm not training with you, I'm training with Alex. You know, it's funny. You know, kickboxing and it burns me out. And I think, I sort of, I'm thinking, what am I going to eat after I'm out of here? So,
I'm starving, by the way, right now.
So what comes out to me is like lentils and greens and, you know, roasted vegetables,
Yes.
organic roasted vegetables. It's funny, it might sound even, you know, dumb that after so many years of me cooking, now I'm discovering, and as I was a while discovered before, like eating organic, you don't need much sauces, you don't need much, like the natural flavor of the fruits or the vegetables. So now that I'm in this mode of eating healthy and feeling better, I mean, last night I had oysters, but, you know, and ceviches.
Good, yeah.
Ceviches is very, you know, it's very
I love
healthy, believe it
ceviches.
or not. As long as the fish is nice and fresh and that's, you know, you make sure that it's high quality sashimi grade, otherwise you get sick. But I'm going to take your class, so I'm going to inspire to write a menu.
Well, I think this has been absolutely fantastic, Ricardo. You've been an inspiration to me. Like I said, you taught me a lot, even if you didn't know. Just propelling yourself up and up and up because I look at it the same way. There's a lot of trainers out there, quote unquote, if you're going to put me in a thing, and you can be in one level, and then there's a couple trainers that are like, I get this a lot in Hoboken. Trainers like, oh, you mad at that trainer because he's doing that? I'm like, I'm looking at Jillian Michaels, not at her training style, but at publicity-wise, like media-wise, whoever's controlling that. I look at the national players, and I'm like, how can I best them? And I feel like you do the same thing.
Yeah, I like to go international.
You know, you're looking, you'd go even bigger. Now we're getting in. I need to learn Spanish badly. I want to get this Latin American audience on lockdown. I want them to watch this show every day. I like the style. I like the way they talk about it. I like the shots they
Well, there's a lot of the Latin culture is, you know, look at the way they dance. It looks like it's, you know. But you know, it's the culture, and to me, especially if you do that, you can count with me because I have a project with Carlos Beltran that we're gonna educate the Latin community to eat better and, you know, eat healthier and exercise more. Because, I mean, even though that our food is good, it can be overdone and the obesity and the problems with, you know, with health.
Of course, I did feel like that was becoming a much bigger issue. They were mentioning that a lot more in Costa Rica last time we were going. They must be getting talked to because they don't have an oven. They only have burners, so they fry it. That's what I would do too. All right, so what are some of the upcoming plans that you got going on, or is there anything you would like to plug? I know you're building the kitchen in the orphanage.
Yeah, in Dominican Republic. I'm opening a Brazilian restaurant in Washington Heights. I'm opening a taqueria and cevicheria at the East Village for a famous Latin group called Mana. I'm opening, just opened a Colombian and Dominican restaurant last week in Queens. And, you know, I have upcoming events. I'm cooking for Legends at the Yankee Stadium.
Nice.
And, of course, I got to cook for the visiting team. And when Cano comes, I got to cook. The orphanage is a big deal. Then I'm going to El Salvador, be an honor and give a speech to the students that graduated on cooking school to give them, to move them to become better themselves, and not just better themselves, to use what they learn for the goods also. And what else I'm doing, what I would like to do, like I said to you, one of my projects, and you can help me because you know a lot about nutrition, is teaching the Latin community how to eat better. And Ricardo Beltran is also very interested in doing that, especially that he's a Yankee player and he has millions of followers. Yeah. You know, so I think that's, so far, it's one of my projects.
I might be able to find time for that. Right. And also you post a lot of funny and motivational things on Facebook, so they can follow you on Facebook at home.
Sure, Chef Ricardo Cardona on Facebook. I also have the Mission Menu Facebook, which is for the fans. I have Cardona Catering, also Facebook. I have my own website, which is Chef Ricardo Cardona and Cardona Catering, because I'm a catering company.
That's awesome.
And it's funny, I have to say this. I don't know if you heard a guy named Fat Joe. And I cooked for him on Sunday at the Kardashians party. And he's like, you know, he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So what happened? You're not Fat Joe anymore. He goes, I'm fat and still in my heart. But he says, I had no choice but, you know, to lose weight. Because it's not a matter of choice. You know, his friend died of a heart attack.
Oh, yeah, you can
Big
absolutely.
pun. You know, he didn't want to go, and he's telling, you know, oh, everybody at the party, this is my nigger, this is my man.
Yeah.
You know, he cooked all the Sofrito stuff, which he can't eat and exceed no more. So, you know, again, I have Twitter and Instagram. I don't even know where it is. I have my PR does it for me, but they can find me, and I want to help the community.
Ricardo, it's been fantastic.
Hey, thank you for
sir.
having me.
Appreciate it.